Hello, thank you for joining us for Comic Talk, the Vaccinated edition. And I'm super glad to be here. So I wanted to say welcome to everyone streaming from home on YouTube, all the millions of people watching on all of the apps. I want to say hello to the astronauts in the International Space Station. Thank you for taking time from developing new things in the world and the universe to join us today for this special edition of Comic Talk. Like I said, this is Comic Talk, the Vaccinated edition. So let me just preface a little bit what we're going to be doing is that when the pandemic hit, the world shut down, just boom, overnight. Like everything was going great. Well, maybe not everything was going great for everybody, but in general, it was a really cool world to be living in. And overnight, the world shut down. And a few weeks ago, I had a talk with a friend of mine who was a hairstylist, and she mentioned to me that she was now feeling a little bit guilty about the fact that when everything shut down, she kind of enjoyed it, because she didn't have to do anything, and she was roughly making about the same that she was making before, so she just got this paid vacation, and she loved it. But not everyone was in the same boat, right? I kept working. My job is hard, but it's not the most stressful job in the world. I hope my boss isn't watching right now, because like tomorrow I'm going to get to work just like Jesse. You've got a whole new plate of responsibilities. But there was a couple of jobs out there that I, in particular, was like, wow, that job must really be difficult right now. And to me, one of those jobs was educators who had to transition to a whole new way of working. And the other job, which was like mail carriers and delivery drivers, because they had no way of stopping their job, because I still wanted every single record that I ordered to come on time and not be delivered a minute late, and I didn't want it like just tossed into the yard. Like I wanted it dropped off on my doorstep. And so I was like, wow, those jobs must really suck right now. And we went through it all, and we made it. It was difficult, it was hard, it sucked, but we're kind of starting to turn the corner. And here's some numbers I got today, and I'm not making these numbers up. You could find these numbers on the covid.cdc.gov. These are real numbers for here in California. Well, actually, let me start. Here in Sacramento, our positivity rate for last week with 37,000 tests performed was down to 2.4%. Back in January, our positivity rate 1 week hit 13.9%. So that is freaking scary, right? As of today, I think I pulled these numbers at 1:57. Oh no, I pulled them at noon during my lunch break. While I was on my break, I pulled these numbers. 44.5% of the United States has had at least one vaccination. 32% of the United States is fully vaccinated. For the state of California, 47.9% has had at least one vaccination, and 32.6% is fully vaccinated. And for our county, Sacramento County, we are at 42% of the population has had at least one vaccination, and 29.9% is fully vaccinated. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is fully vaccinated. So everyone in here today, we have a live studio audience, a small studio, very tiny, and they are all fully vaccinated. So let's give everybody, yes, we're fully vaccinated.
Yay.
Are you there? Wait, get over to the other side of the audience. Yes. Fully vaccinated. Brian, if it starts to lull, just do that during this show.
Yeah. Just that.
Yeah. Fully vaccinated.
Every time you arc, it will just be like, whoa.
So I'd like to introduce my guests today, and they are, just like me, people who had to keep working through this entire pandemic and never stopped working. I'm sure they had a day off here and there, but their job did not ever stop. And I will start from at the far end of the stage. This is, I'll let you introduce yourself.
You're going to have me introduce myself?
No, I'm going to introduce you. Please welcome Emma Haney.
Yeah, hello. Hey. I sounded rude and I didn't mean to. I'm like, what do you mean? I have to say my own name.
I got really scared. Emma is also a stand-up comedian, by the way. She's not just sassy.
Yeah.
And Emma is a delivery driver who worked straight through the pandemic. And I know she worked straight through the pandemic because I am one of the first Haneyacks.
Yes.
Want to tell us what a Haneyhack is?
Oh, I started doing videos on Facebook that I would just like summarize like my day and how it was going. And one of the people who were watching it were like, "Oh, you should call your fans Haneyacks," and I did. And people still bug me about it.
I have Haneyhack tattooed, but I can't show it.
Yeah.
But later on, maybe I will. Who knows? Our second guest is an educator, and she also worked straight through the pandemic. Her name is Kacie Shingara.
Hi. Yeah, I did, and still working because school year's not over. So, yeah, I teach 11th grade English, and it's been a heck of a 14-ish months, I guess we're at. And yeah, that's what I got. I was also a Haneyhack for a bit.
Were
it was
you?
good. Yeah, it was
for
good
a
fun.
bit.
For a bit.
No,
And then, I'm sorry, distance learning was
kidding.
a beast.
Oh yeah,
So I was a little bit.
I have nieces and
Yeah.
they did not fare well.
I wasn't certain what details you wanted right now.
No,
so.
that's fine. That's fine. So, welcome. And hey, what do you guys think of the new stage?
It's tight. I love it.
It was good. We have these wings here, and I see like this like Scooby-Doo monster chase sequence, or
Yes.
like Benny Hill, and like multiple ways of running around, and I'm excited.
So you're already
fun.
thinking of ways to utilize this stage.
For sure, yeah.
Right. For those of you who don't know, Kacie is an improviser here at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. What are some of the shows that you're featured on?
Well, certainly things are different right now, but we do Comedy Spot Squares, which by no means is a plagiarism of Hollywood Squares. Not at all. And so we'll be part of Big Day of Giving, and then we're also performing on the 18th of the month. And then I guest here and there on different shows, by and large Dana Bryant shows. And then I get to guest on ACL out on the boardwalk in person, which is pretty freaking sweet. So
Awesome.
That's what I get to do right now.
That's great. Can you guys remember, Emma, I'll start with you. Do you remember the last time you performed on this stage? Like, how long has it been?
On this stage?
Yeah.
Oof, I think Fresh 5 was my last thing I did here.
Uh-huh.
And then, because then the next one got canceled because everything shut down.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fresh 5.
Do you remember, Kacie, what was the last show you performed on here?
I would guess that it would not have been Comedy Exchange because we were third Saturday of the month. So, or no, third Friday. No. Was it Rivet? Yeah, that's the business. So it was an
I thought I heard a
all-ladies.
frog.
I was like, what show was that? It was an all-ladies variety show that we have.
Rivet. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the last one, and now we're up on a brand new stage.
Yeah, this stage is awesome. There's so many cool little gadgets with the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And not only the stage is brand new, like behind the stage and to the side of the stage and in the back of the club, like I'm really excited to bring friends back to the Sacramento Comedy Spot. The Sacramento Comedy Spot is also another one of the things that just did not shut down. They transitioned, right? They transitioned. So that's what I want to talk about, you guys. What was like, okay, so life was pretty good, right? Like you guys were performing.
Yeah.
I love how you set it up.
Life was good.
great.
Life
Then
was
it took a
great,
shit.
right? And we'll start with you. When did it first feel like, when was like your first oh shit moment? Like this is bad.
My first oh shit moment, funny enough, was when I couldn't find toilet paper. That was like, I'm like nowhere, and I was checking places on my route. I couldn't find it anywhere, and then I finally found a pack, and of lavender flavored. I say flavored because it said flavored on the package. Toilet paper, and I was like, y'all, this is not this is not good.
Where did you find that at? Was it?
I
Like
found it at a Mexican grocery store on my route, like down in like Carmichael.
Yeah, lavender toilet paper is big in Mexican households.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was curious.
Yeah. So that's when I knew.
That's when
Oh,
you knew
shit.
it was bad. Kacie,
Yeah.
when did you know, like, oh shoot, this is bad?
I would say, iconically, it's Friday the 13th of March of last year.
It was Friday the 13th.
It was Friday the 13th, and so we had done, and I had chaperoned junior prom the weekend prior, and we were kind of going, should we have done this? And fights broke out, and whatever. That's junior prom. Lots of love being tested. And then we did the every 15 minutes program the Wednesday and Thursday prior to shutting down, which is the whole drunk driver simulation, and a kid gets arrested, and there's supposed to be a mock funeral, and we cut the funeral part because there'd be too many kids in the gym. And I went, this is getting heavy. And then someone told me to rearrange my desks because I keep kids kind of in tables, like in pinwheels. And we had a staff meeting that Friday afternoon, and our principal said, well, Elk Grove was not preemptive after all. We're shutting down. I'll see you after spring break in 3 weeks. He did say after spring break. He just was wrong on what year. So he was right, but wrong on what year. So I think when it was that Friday the 13th and my friend had just returned from maternity leave that Monday, she texts her mom next to me in that meeting and says, I don't need you to watch Chloe anymore. I'm on break. And I went, what? And so just it felt like, oh shit. And here were 100 of us in the library, which was very foolish looking back. And then we all went to happy hour to process what had just happened. So that was really, that was so reckless. But it was the last beer with friends I had for a year. And
Wow. So
Yeah.
your last hang with friends was on Friday the 13th?
it was. And we're like, so I guess I'll see you. Yeah, we'll hang out after spring break. Okay, take care. And then what the hell is happening?
I remember on Friday the 13th, I went to two separate, but they were both small gatherings, but there was still two. Like I went to a dinner party with probably about 10 friends, and then I left that dinner party to go to like some friends who had a dinner party, and now I was just kind of crashing the after dinner party. And I was already worried, but I still wasn't at the whole, oh, maybe we shouldn't be hanging out phase.
Yeah, no. And then I think about a week later is when the governor did the entire shutdown, and that's when it felt real because I was living all alone, and Joe and I were engaged at the time, and it was like, so are you moving in? Because I may not see you. And then it was, oh shit, I live with someone again. So it's been great. Love you. Hi.
Emma, do you remember the last time you got to hang out with friends?
I think it wasn't Friday the 13th. I had a show it was right before everything shut down, and I had a show in SF like that next Friday, and then that's the last time. It was a shitty basement show, and I drove home from San Francisco, and I'm like, it can only go up from here. And I was like, shoot.
I remember we got sent home from work probably the same week that the Elk Grove School District shut down, because they shut down like a whole week before, like a whole week and a half before.
They were the Monday, and everyone else was Friday.
Yeah, so we got sent home on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I remember thinking to myself, man, I hope we get to work from home at least through the end of March. Like, I was kind of stoked about it. I was like, yes, I'm working from home, and I was kind of happy about it. And I remember the first time that it hit me like a punch in the gut was and the first time that I panic and anxiety and dread set in was, I think, like that following Monday after Friday the 13th, I went to the grocery store, and I was like laughing at all the stuff I was seeing on the news of like, oh God, that must be like in Idaho or something. Like, that could never happen like here. That would never happen at Trader Joe's, please, you know? And I went to Trader Joe's, and there was nothing like it was like something you saw like from a movie. It wasn't real. And I remember just leaving, and like that was the first time that I got scared. Like, did you? Don't say you never got scared.
I've never been scared. No.
So we're gonna give Emma a little bit of time to think about when she got scared. Kacie, do you remember the first time that you were like, this is bad?
Man, I was watching too much news to the point where I think I was like perseverating on it and just obsessing and panicking, and I was watching Worldometer, and the numbers were just growing exponentially. And I think it was the grocery store as well, because I remember reading something years ago that said, you know, American grocery stores have no seasons. You'll pay more for a plum at different times of the year, but you can get a plum or you can get an orange year round. And it was the first time I've experienced empty shelves in the grocery store, being very nervous, and then really being concerned watching people who were elderly move slow. And I felt like people were so stressed, so tense, yet trying to be good to each other. Like, it was a weird feeling of supply is limited. Let's not screw over this person, but I still need to take care of me. And that's where, too, I'm so grateful for like your industry, because I got so scared to the point where I didn't want to leave the house, which did not feel healthy. And so we did various delivery services for a while, and I was the person who was wiping everything down, and because we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And my mom is a pediatric nurse, so I was very concerned what was going to happen for her and just what came next.
Right.
Yeah.
Emma, have you had time
Have
to
I
think?
had time to think? Well, I wasn't like about the grocery store stuff, but it was more because we never got to stop like going into work. So it was like everything was pretty normal for a while, because I'm like, I'm just not doing comedy at night. Like, that's really but then when they started really stressing like the safety at work, and they were like, hey, don't like touch stuff unless you have to touch stuff, and like it was just like that part was weird, and people were ordering like a lot of food. It was really just how busy we got, how the company didn't know how to handle it, because it's like, hey, you guys be safe, but also you're working like 12 extra hours a week or more.
Right.
Like, we're all gonna be like, this is like Christmas that doesn't end, pretty much. And then after that, I was like, well, am I gonna just touch a bunch of stuff and get sick? Like, then all of us started getting that way, because they didn't want us to get COVID tested or like anything. That's when people started freaking out at my work, when they were just being weird about stuff.
What was it like, Emma? We're going to stay with you because Kacie mentioned something about that. Like, we both did it. We just stayed home. Like,
Yeah.
we stayed. Like, I remember, like, at one point, like, I didn't leave my house. I was not leaving my house for 2 weeks at a time. Like, I would go out every 2 weeks and I would buy enough stuff and then come home and then stay in the house for 2 weeks, right? Emma, what were the streets like those
It was beautiful. There was no traffic. People weren't out. It was weird going into businesses, because a lot of people got rid of their receptionists. Like, if people were working in the office, there'd be like no one in there. And so that I was like, I don't have to talk to people. Like, so that part was actually not bad.
Oh, okay.
The traffic was great, because I was getting from like Lincoln to down here in like 25 minutes. Like, it was nuts
Wow.
for like, I'd say like a good 6 to 8 months, because people were just at home. So the roads were chef's kiss. It was great.
Nice. When did you first start to like get comfortable with the new, what they were calling the new normal, like the new, like, when did you first start to like, okay, after you binged Tiger King, like,
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeesh.
like what, when did you first start, when did you like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Like, did you ever like trying to get comfortable with it?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Since Emma pointed at you.
That's
Why,
fine.
you were looking over there.
So I'm thinking, so, I mean, a school year runs, by and large, at least in our district, August through May. And we have summers off. That's kind of a misnomer. We're doing PD. We're gearing up for next year. We're talking with other teachers about best practices. And so that summer, I think I was probably putting in like 60 hours a week, getting ready to completely change my entire world of my job. And there are so few schools that had a history of being online, that I was going to Stanford Online High School, and I took their whole like 50-hour workshop series, Catlin Tucker's blended learning, and I was like the research liaison for my district and teaching it to other people, because people were freaking out. And you had varying degrees of tech knowledge, and we were switching program platforms to run our campus. And then there's also that fantastic feeling for like 3 weeks, everyone thought we were super cool. And then everyone fucking hated us, which is still there. It's really insulting to ask how I've liked my extended vacation, and to the point where my now rebuttal, no one says it directly to me, it's just out in the world. My rebuttal is, if this is vacation, send me back to work. Because this ain't vacation.
Right.
And so our district, there was just so much up and down and such a push and a want to be back in person before it was safe. And we have some unfair practice acts filed against our board. So it's been a very contentious year. A lot of, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. Just a lot of, legally, I don't think you could do that. Oh, you did that? Okay. Oh, fuck. And so I would say when we found out we were switching to hybrid, that was third week of this March. And then from hybrid, we called it, like I call it from Survivor, the merge, because we used to have kids who came on Tuesday, Thursdays, and then kids who came on Wednesday, Friday. No, that's not right. Tuesday, Wednesday kids, Thursday, Friday kids, but they'd be online for the other of those 2 days. And then we merged the in-person kids to just in-person or online. And that was very recent. So it's been the year of the perpetual first week of school. It does not feel overwhelming anymore. I don't feel stupid. I don't feel scared. I don't feel insulted as much. But I do not feel acclimated. Like, I get what I'm doing. There's a familiarity to this now. But your pacing's weird because the kids came back and it's fourth quarter and it should be spring semester and we're chilling and no more seating charts. Let's just hang out. We'll do projects. We're getting ready for the AP exam. But they came to school for the first day during fourth quarter. So you had first day of school nerves and energy, and fourth quarter, get me out of here, I'm itchy for summer, competing at the same time. And you didn't know what anyone looked like. You didn't know any kid's face.
Wow.
Because our district, and I think this was fair, we did not mandate they could have they had to have their cameras on, because we don't know your home life, and it's an equity issue, no problem. So we would see them as initials, and we called them Scrabble tiles. And so, because you would just see this screen of like 36 initials, and kids were great about acting in chat. I say acting like because we're on stage. They're great about engaging in chat. They'd ask you questions. They'd meet with you one-on-one, but their camera was always off. So when they came on campus and they're good about their masks, you honestly did not know who you were talking to until you read their writing again. You're like, oh, you're so-and-so. Excellent. Because it's very disorienting not to know their names in April. Names to face. Like, that's exhausting. So we're getting there. Things are chill now, and our kids also have the flexibility to be an in-person student but stay home any day. Intention being, if you got the sniffles, if potentially you've been exposed to COVID, we want you to stay home. Mm-hmm. Some kids, there's just an additional flexibility about staying home. Some reasons are perhaps more noble than others. Sometimes there's a test in one class and they're going to go stay home. So you're like, I think I'd do the same.
Right.
So it's a huge variance of who's there every day. But of the kids who are by and large consistently there, I do know names to faces for them. But again, I'll know everyone through writing. But when they come in next year to say hi, they will have to tell me who they are. Because I'll be like, hello, child.
Even though you've been their teacher already.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they send me an email, I'll know instantly who I'm talking to. But the name face recognition isn't there. And we went out to lunch in Folsom, I don't know, a month ago. And a bunch of teenagers were like, and they were like kind of mean mugging me, but I wasn't certain. I'm pretty certain they were my students. And I was just like, hey, and like went about my day. But I don't know, it's been a year. I'm very excited for summer because I intend to do nothing. So for about like 3 weeks, and then we're going to change everything in the fall because we have a fresh start. So let's go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was long.
Emma, have you ever been...
It was interesting to
Thank you,
listen
though.
to. I'm all shit.
Emma, have you ever been more happy to not have chosen teaching as a profession?
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, I was just trying to find bathrooms for a year. Like, that's
Well,
a lot.
that's what I wanted to ask you about, because my best friend is a mail carrier, And like I would talk to her and I'd be like, "What's up?" She's like, "Trying to find a bathroom. I'm about to go behind this bush."
Yeah.
How bad was it? Like,
In the beginning, when they were like, don't touch surfaces and like all that, it was like, there were places that I've been delivering to for like several years that were just like, no, you can't use the bathroom. And I'd be like, here's your paycheck, okay. Like, because I was delivering like their stuff, and I'm like, well, thanks, that's nice. And then it wasn't bad because I had a couple parks on my route, and then they closed the park bathrooms, and I'm like, well, shit, like, what am I gonna do? And that was just, it was a rough few months. It would have been easier if I was a man,
right?
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just online, they wanted to know just what Emma does. Maybe not what company she works for, but what she does.
Emma.
I think people came in a little bit late.
Tell the folks at the International Space Station.
I'm a full-time delivery driver for a company that if you mix with another company, you get fed up. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go. I can't top that laugh. I have to leave.
Leave them wanting more.
You mentioned earlier that it felt like your job at one point felt like it was going to be Christmas forever.
Yeah.
What was it? How bad was it after the first stimulus check?
Okay, that's like another thing, because it was already like super bad, and then when everybody got money, it got
then
terrible.
go ahead and lead up to that. What was it? Because everyone was.
It was
ordering.
just, it was like, I can only explain it in the way of dates. So like in the beginning, it was like post Black Friday, like busy, which is still pretty bad. But then after the stimulus money, it was like the week before Christmas, and everybody forgot to buy their stuff. Like, it was so crazy. And it was just like the crap people were buying. Like, people were getting trampolines and like desks. I shit you not, I delivered a trampoline to a second floor apartment. I'm like, what are y'all doing up here? And when can I come by? Because I feel like it's my right for dropping this off.
Not like a little exercise trampoline. Like
No, it was like a full functioning, like, yeah. And I'm just like, and then like food, people were getting like Omaha steaks. There's like a place called Porto's that I really want to look into, because I'm like, everybody's buying. Is it good? Everybody's getting it. It was just, and then that was gross too when people were buying meat online, because sometimes it didn't keep, and then it would come all the way down the belt, and we were like, oh God, this is so gross. But yeah, just people just buying the most. And that was what, and all of us would talk about it, like being considered essential, because I deliver like medication to like hospice places and like to hospitals and stuff. But then we're out here delivering like dog treats and like wigs. I'm like, you know what I mean? They put like a big sign over like our entrance gate to drive in that were like, heroes work here. And we're like, take that down. Because there's like healthcare people like actually doing stuff. But yeah, it was just crazy busy. And it's just now started to like taper off. And it was just.
So you're probably like the only, so you're, the people in your profession were probably the only people that like, because like when I heard there was going to be a second stimulus, I was like,
oh
yes!
my God, we were pissed. Well, and even like before that, we were just like, when are people going to run out of cash? Like, it was just, yeah, like and where I used to deliver my old route, because I was in Carmichael in the very beginning, and then I switched routes since then, so now I'm in Rockland, where it's like the Wild West out there. Like, you wouldn't even think there's a pandemic if you went out there. But like there were a lot of like homeless people down there, and sometimes they'll get stuff and they'll have it ordered to like a local business, because they have like cards like that they can order stuff on. And I delivered it's caviar, like a box of caviar to this donut shop, and this guy was like, oh, it's here. And I'm like, the fuck? It was unreal, the stuff people were getting. And it's just, yeah.
What was it like having to deliver all the PlayStations and not one wasn't for you?
I was so irritated that day, because that was a big thing too, was we took away our money back guarantee for service, because everything was so overloaded. Like we had planes, at one point we had planes in Memphis that would just sit and they're like, we can't even process like what's coming in. So stuff was just like crazy late. Like we had gotten stuff because it was just like a weird, like there was COVID and then there was like all those shit in Texas. Remember that when everything froze? So we had cans of freight that were just sitting in places for like almost a week for some stuff. And the week that the PlayStations came out, we had late freight. And all of mine aren't due till like 8 o'clock at night. But I'm like, man, all my gamer brethren, I went and made all those like my first delivery, so everybody got it at like 9 in the morning.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
I was just like,
awesome.
have fun, friend. Like I had like 40 of them in one day, and I'm like, yeah, I just went and knocked all of them out. They were super happy.
See, heroes do work here.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, put the sign back up. I guess.
Yeah. You made sure of it. When you were out there, just like every day, did you ever like freak out thinking that you were exposed? Like, did you ever have I think I have it. I don't ever cough this much.
When people at my station started slowly getting it, because like I said, they were kind of they didn't want us to go get tested. They made it like a big to-do because there was no way to like socially distance our warehouse when we're like loading and unloading and everything. So they just, if people go get tested, it's like people could just, turn out positive. So when people at my work started getting it, that's when I was like, oh God, I work like 2 trucks down from that person, and I'd be like eating my lunch and be like, can I like taste everything? Like, but a lot of businesses that I delivered to would take my temperature before I could go in. So I was getting my temperature for like almost a year. Like people just stopped doing that. Like at least 2 or 3 times or more a day. So like I was just like, so then I was like, after that I'm like, 97.3 is like my average that I get. I know when I'm like ovulating now, like that's how much my temperature got taken. Like it was just, so after a while I was like kind of like, okay, like don't touch my face. I wear like latex gloves and like everything when I deliver. So I was just keeping myself safe. And then I'm like, you're good. You're just not being stupid and being safe. And
So you never got tested once?
no, I made an appointment to go. But then my manager found out and was like, if you go get tested, like you can't come back to work for 2 weeks. Even if it comes back negative, you have to like, they made a fear mongering
Because they're
thing.
saying that the reason you got tested is because you think you might have gotten
have
exposed.
it. And like they were like, and you don't get paid. You didn't get paid for the 2 weeks you were gone. And then they kicked in that California thing where you get 80 hours of COVID pay. Because I had to use that when I got my second shot. I used like 3 days of that.
We're getting to that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry.
Yeah, there's a list right here. Kacie, did you ever get tested?
I did. I got tested twice. One time because I was concerned about an exposure through, like, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Then I knew someone, and I went, oh no, and my throat is itchy. Kacie, you have seasonal allergies every year in October. What?
Allergies fucked it up.
It scared me
scared
so
me
bad.
too.
Because I went,
Yeah.
oh no, I can't breathe out of my nose. I can't taste. Oh no, just congested, and my throat's always itchy when I have, allergies. So one time, I think I just freaked myself out, and then the other time I got tested was because it sounds very STI and like go save sex, but yeah, go save sex. The other time I got tested was out of courtesy to our family when we got married, and so we had everyone shelter in place for 2 weeks prior, and by everyone I mean our parents, our siblings, their spouses, and a friend each. So I think we had 11 people at our wedding, and we'll do a big party later, but everyone sheltered in place for 2 weeks, and I felt it was courteous to go get a negative COVID test prior, and everybody else did too, and that was the other one. So it was like I could hug somebody on my wedding day who wasn't in my immediate household, and then that was great because it was the first time since the previous Mother's Day, and we got married in February. The first time since the previous Mother's Day I saw my mom and sister in the same space, so it was like sweet because I hadn't seen my sister in that many months, so May to February.
Wow.
So yeah, I got that one out of like, let's hang out, and it was all a very COVID safe wedding. And then dinner was just our parents and one of Joe's siblings and her husband, and that was the whole crew. And we got Carmelitas, and I was really happy. That's all I needed, so I was good.
Yeah. What was Emma, we'll start with you. What was your go-to order out food when everyone was getting food delivered?
Oh my gosh. Kiki's
Hey.
chicken?
Do you want to see my DoorDash history?
Yeah,
It's
that's all
bad.
it's Kiki's chicken salads. That's all. And then I would get their wings, the garlic parmesan wings.
Uh-huh.
And then like an 8-ounce thing of ranch. Just the tub.
That's like the small soda
Yeah,
cans.
it is. It's just like a small thing of ranch.
I'm not
But I
ranch
was like,
shaming.
I deserve this. And I just
What
drink it.
was yours, Kacie?
There's a pizza place walking distance to the house, so I've never used DoorDash or Uber Eats. So I would go there, and we have a very custom to us pizza. It's potentially disgusting. It's Hawaiian plus bacon all over and jalapenos on my half. So
That's
You
like I feel
had me
like
to the
that's like
jalapenos.
Huh?
You had me to the jalapenos.
Really?
I know, but
jalapenos and pineapple are
with bacon and
delicious,
Canadian
yeah.
bacon. Oh, hello. So we do that, and then Taqueria Los Compadres on Fair Oaks. I get their shredded chicken jumbo burrito, I think once a week. So
Did
I
you,
had it today. So
did you guys do any cooking? Did you did you learn how to cook something new during COVID, or did you learn?
I mean, I already kind of knew how to cook. I wanted to take up baking and bread making, which the whole world wanted to do. So I didn't get to do that because the flour was. And then by the time it was back in stock, I'm like, I'm over it. I don't want to make bread.
the trend wave. is
Yeah.
What about you, Kacie? Did you?
I am not one who enjoys cooking, so no. I can feed myself. I've gotten this far, but no. Out of the two of us, I would much prefer to wash the dishes than cook. It doesn't interest me like at all. I get really impatient
Well,
and
I-
irritated.
I love to cook, and I hate doing the dishes.
See, well, okay, I'll wash your dishes.
Oh,
it'll
it's
be great.
on. It's
yeah,
on. Yeah.
because I'm happy to clean anything, but if they're like, this will take 45 minutes to make, I go, a sandwich is fine. I'll move on.
Oh man. Hey, let's move along to like what we're really here to talk about. Emma, were you guys the ones delivering the first batch of vaccines?
Yeah.
What was it? Did they brief you guys? Was there super excitement about it?
We were all excited until we learned we weren't eligible to get it. So then it's like you're
That's
just
not cool.
Like I was delivering it to a Save Mart, like, here you go, can I get a hit? And they'd be like, not yet, it's not your turn. But it was really just like time sensitive. That was the thing, was like, you need to make this like your first stop. Like this can't, and then when we'd have late planes, they would send drivers out to the ramp, either to SMF in Sac or down to Oakland. And they were like, you need to go get the vaccine and bring it up here. Cause that was they just didn't want them to be like late. Cause they have to like stay, I think, at a certain temperature or something. So they're like, you need to
Right.
get it there now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and did it happen like right on time? Like, did you guys know the day before, like a week before? What was that like? Like the weeks leading up to it? Was there?
We'd get like a list like the day before to know what was coming in the next day. And it was just like routes, like certain routes would be like, hey, you've got a vaccine coming in tomorrow. And we'd be like, all right. Yeah. They had like sensors on them and stuff to track them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was intense.
Kacie, who
Yeah.
was so I think you got vaccinated before Emma, right? Like,
Probably, yeah.
So who was we'll start with you, Kacie. Emma at school. She was essential. What
You know?
what was like Kacie, who was the first person you knew that got vaccinated?
My mom, and so since she's in peds at UC Davis, I think she got her first one, I want to say either after Christmas or after New Year, so she was done in January.
Oh wow.
And that was when I was like, oh my God, I can see you again. And we're buds. My mom is like the permanent classroom mom. Like she comes with crafts, she comes with treats, she comes with good stories. Now she comes with wine. Like,
Yes.
my mom's just this Disney princess of a person. And so that was really exciting. So she was the first person I knew who got it. But then she also said she felt like the order was backwards, that they've got all the PPE. She goes, a kid can aspirate in my face. It's not going anywhere. I've got a shield. I've got a drape. She goes, this should have gone to grocery store employees and delivery drivers. And she goes, we're fine. She goes, and the elderly can't drive. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And that's not a slight on the elderly, but just a priority. She felt like the sequencing was backwards. But she was the first I knew. And then I got my first one February 9th, and then my second one the week before hybrid started. And all the other teachers in the district went to a site-specific one, but I don't live in the town in which I work, so I wasn't eligible.
Oh, shit.
So someone else very much helped me out, and I did the one with the National Guard at Cal Expo. And so I got my second round, took a sub day because it knocked me on my booty, and I slept. And it felt like someone had saran wrapped my arm to my torso, like a horrible prank, because I couldn't move it on the second round. But then not all the other, but so many other teachers in my district got their second round the day before hybrid started.
Oh, wow.
And we were saying to our school board, this is the sequencing. They're all going, and we're talking like 85% of our staff. We go, so we're going to start hybrid with no teachers in the room because they're going to be ill. And it was a hot mess on day one. So,
So because your mom is in
Yeah.
medicine, you didn't have any reservations. You weren't worried about the vaccine. You were like, let's do it.
oh God, no. I trust science and science teachers and research. Like I grew up with a medical household. Like to me, it was such a non-issue and a non-negotiable. Like if I can speak plainly, that just seemed very ignorant and very dangerous to like spread misinformation or to catch these perfect little edit sound bites. And like, okay, can we all just pause and think for a second? Do you really think Bill Gates like cares where the hell you are? Like, what? Does he? I mean, now that he's single, but
Yeah, maybe he does now.
but I just thought, could we like pause and be rational? And let's let journalism not be entertainment news. Like, let's just let journalism be journalism, and
Right.
let scientific reporting be scientific reporting. So no, I was
You
like,
were
let's
not
go.
scared. Yeah.
When's my turn? So yeah.
Emma, who was the first person you knew that got vaccinated?
Like in real life or just on
Yeah, what-
Facebook? Because
IRL,
I
real
started
life.
seeing like dispensary people that I know, and I'm like, list what? These people? No, I think Michelle was the first person who got it. Yeah, that I've like been around.
And then, how did you feel like how did you finally get the news that like you can get the vaccine? Because like I got mine, like I wasn't sure when I was going to be eligible for mine, and then I went to the dentist one day and just got my butt kicked at the dentist, and I just had such a miserable day, and I got home like I couldn't feel this whole half of my face.
Yeah.
And I opened up my email. There was an email from Kaiser, and it said you're eligible,
Oh,
and it was like
nice.
on a Wednesday, like at 5 o'clock, and it said go here, follow this website. And I was not believing it. I was like, this is like one of those emails where like they want you to click and it says enter your password. like I kept waiting for that, and I was like, and it's all tomorrow, Cal Expo 10:15. I was like it felt so surreal. What was it like? How did you get the news?
Well, I was trying to hustle a shot for a little bit.
You
Like
should,
I
yeah.
was like trying to, and they're like when you go to places at the end of the day, they'll have like extras, and I'll be like, I'm gonna get it from here, and then I went through like My Turn CA, which is where you sign up to get it.
Yep.
And because I kept checking it, and I guess they had changed it so it was like logistics, which I guess I learned is my job title. I'm like, okay. I finally saw it on there, and then I was like, fuck yes. And then I just scheduled it at like 6 in the morning because I was checking it like every day. And then that day in the morning meeting, they were like, hey, guys, we're eligible to get that. And I'm like, I already signed up. I need these days off. But I didn't go to Cal Expo. I had to go to UC Davis to get mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm fancy. So.
That is
Yeah,
fancy.
you are. Yeah, I was cool to go to Cal Expo. That's like right around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
So I was stoked to go to Cal Expo, but like even like getting like so were you Kacie,
Yeah.
where you got the vaccine, was there hundreds and hundreds of people, or was it just like, was it pretty easy, like you were isolated, it felt safe? I mean, you already felt safe, but was
I already
it?
felt safe. So I did Cal Expo as well, and where you go, it's the fairgrounds and this giant exhibition space for people who don't know. It's massive. The state fair happens there. And so where they cart your car through is where the livestock and the car show is. And I was like, oh, we're just like cattle. So, moo.
And we're about to get chips.
Yeah, hey. No, it felt fine. It was populated very much so at the time, but the National Guard was incredibly efficient, and I lucked out. I was the first car each time of that 15-minute waiting piece where your car's still running, but your window's down, and the guard's service person is like, how you doing? Is your throat itchy? And I was like, I'm fine. And I just talked, like, where are you from? How's life? What you reading? Like, I don't know. We just shoot the shit for like 15 minutes. Because you feel okay to drive? I do. And I was the first car out, so I made it back. I did it during my lunch break both times.
Wow.
So
Did it
we
feel
don't have
safe? Yeah, sorry.
we don't have that long of a lunch break anymore. So we did during distance learning.
How'd you feel, Emma? Did you feel safe when you went out to UC Davis? You weren't in the cattle room?
No, well, my first shot, there weren't that many people there, and I was like, figures, like no one's getting their vaccine. And then the second time I went, there were more people, and it was all socially distanced and everything, so it wasn't bad. But then when we had to sit in there was this older lady who was going through and making sure everyone was okay, and she'd be like, "Are you all right? Keep your feet on the ground. You got to keep." She was very much and I was like, "Are you giving us life advice?" Because she said it was bad to cross your legs or you had to keep both feet flat, and I was just like, "Whatever, science, I guess. I don't know how this works." But yeah, it was comfortable. Yeah.
What was we're getting close to wrapping it up.
There we go.
I'm like, please, Brian's hands.
Brian was holding a really good signal to Jesse, and I was like, I hope he sees this. I hope he sees it.
I was almost like
I wanted to go thank you.
I gave you a nod, I saw the
I
light.
thought I did
was like,
too.
yeah.
So-
I didn't. This is the first time I've looked at Brian since I walked in. I was like, you don't understand. I told him something really mean the other day, and I felt really bad about it still.
You should share it with everybody.
So I told, okay, all right. So the other day I was talking to Brian, and I was like, well, Emma, I was doing this for us, okay?
Yeah.
I was telling Brian, I was like, Brian, do you ever think you want to put tables in and have it feel more like a comedy club?
Oh, fuck. Don't put my name on that.
and what is it now?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking of like a nightclub with
Yeah.
With bottle service.
I love how it's set up in here with no tables, because then people aren't being ridiculous. And they're I feel like when you throw tables in the mix, people act up.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I was a jerk. I was a jerk to Brian, and then I was like, well, I guess now's not a good time to ask for a telenovela show.
I knew what you meant. I just it just came out so wrong. It was so funny. It's like, don't you want it to be more like a comedy club? Like a comedy club. So
Like real comedy.
The comedy club at the comedy spot.
Yeah.
Comedy club.
Never mind. This is what we'll wrap it up with. What's the one thing you just can't wait to do again to just feel normal? Just what do you want to do that's going to make it feel like this is behind us, even though it's not 100% behind us? We're still being super careful. I know. So I looked at the doctor in the audience.
Yeah.
What are you going to be able to finally do? That because for me, it's going to be going with my nephews and nieces to a baseball game. We go to a
That's
baseball
cute.
game
That's
every.
nice.
I go home for Mother's Day every year. Mother's Day is on a Sunday. I don't know if you guys knew that. Mother's Day is on a Sunday.
Sunday.
And
It's coming
Saturday we take a family trip to a baseball game. And it is the funnest thing ever. And we didn't get to do that last year. What are you most looking forward to doing now that you're fully vaccinated?
Oh,
Me,
man.
mine's yours is so pure, and I'm just I can't wait to do stand up again. That's all mine is, and going and hanging out with people. But honestly, I'm introverted, so that part didn't bug me too much. So
You just want to get back into real comedy clubs.
Yeah, because
and-
before everything No, God. Well, before everything shut down, it was like...
It's a callback, Brian. It's a callback.
It's a callback.
It's a callback. We're
It's
at
a
a comedy
callback.
club. No, but before everything shut down, that's when I was really hitting my stride, like with my 45 minutes, and like I started getting stuff in LA. I was gonna go to New York. Like I had a bunch of shit lined up, and then everything blew up, and I'm like, man. So that's what I'm excited to do again.
Kacie?
I think I want like the Saturday night experience we've had here pre-COVID of maybe there's food before it's something easily walking distance. We do the show. I can hug people. I can high five people. We take a group photo at the end. And then it's like, who wants to go out for a drink? Not that I need to, but just that social and just being, I'm ridiculously extroverted. Like I need my crowds. I'll read in a crowded space just to be near people. That's how extroverted I am. So just that idea of like, let's crowd a bar, be very kind to the bartender, but like take a corner and just giggle and talk all night in a crowd and be worry-free is so exciting. And then semicolon, go dancing. Oh my God. Like, I feel like that's like some bad early 2000s stand-up comic right there, but I do. I just want to dance.
Oh, man.
Do you know what I'm referencing?
There's a But I was also gonna say there's a dance party that Brian's hosting.
I know.
Yeah.
If you want to dance.
If I'm
in a
up to
couple
go to
days.
the restroom at that time, I'll join
Yeah.
you. So 4 in the morning?
I think it's somewhere around there.
I'll
Okay.
be like getting ready for work.
Ooh,
I'll
you
tune
could
in.
dance and get ready at the same time.
Yeah. And then like, of course, this would take time and money and all that. But just the travel bucket list is
Yeah.
insane, right? I don't have this kind of money, but my dream
You
list.
didn't save your stimmy?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Trampoline.
I bought it. No, I was the trampoline.
God damn it, that was your house. I can't wait to jump on the trampoline.
Well, Emma, Kacie, thank you guys for doing what you do in your daily life. Thank you for teaching the youth. Emma, thank you for making sure that my records get to my house
Yes.
on time.
Yes.
And not warped, because I hear horror stories all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you to everybody who in the audience who is fully vaccinated and also do jobs that are super important to everybody. And like, we're starting to get our world back to a different normal, a safer normal. And I can't wait to just move on with all of you guys, because I love you guys all so much. And it's so good to just be here in this space with you right now. Thank you.
Yay! Oh, that was nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh.
That's good. Yeah.
You want to say anything else to anybody? No, my mom's probably not watching, but I do want to say Big Day of Giving is on a Thursday, and make sure that you get your pocketbook out and give, because this stage ain't cheap, buddy. This stage. These are some nice props.
Join us again at 7:32. We have a gaming show tonight. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.